Hey guys, in this video we're going to be recapping the first round of the NHL playoffs. So let's just start right ahead to the Florida Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, game 1, Florida Panthers take up 6-2 versus the Lightning. Florida leaves 1-0. Matthew Tkachuk came back from his injury and he managed to score 2 goals, which was pretty good. Game 2, Florida, once again, in Tampa, Florida dominated with a 2-0 game, like a 2-0 win versus the Lightning, also making the series 2-0. Florida looked very dominant on defense, and Tampa just couldn't do anything on offense. Now, in Game 3, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they scored 5 goals on us, well, on Florida Panthers, and making it 5-1. So now Florida leads 2-1. But that wasn't going to slip for Florida while Tampa scored 2 goals. The next game, Florida scored 4, winning the game. Florida making the Panthers lead 3-1. And then the final game, which was Florida versus Tampa, it was a dogfight, and it was a very big. It was like a good shootout. And it was a tight game, but Florida led and they scored 2 goals at the end. It was 3-1, I think, right? Yeah, 3-1, and then Florida scored 2 extras to make it 6-3, and that was it. Florida took the series in 5, dominant from Florida. And overall, the series wasn't bad, but it was just straight up dominant from Florida. Next, we got the Ottawa Senators versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs blow out the Ottawa Senators 6-2 in Game 1. And then in Game 2, Maple Leafs come and once again beat the Senators 3-2 in overtime. And that also happened in Game 3 when the Maple Leafs win in OT with the Senators, and the Leafs win, making the Leafs series 3-0. And it looked like at this point the Leafs were going to sweep the Senators, but they came back and the Senators won Game 4 in 5. Game 4, it was a 4-3 game, went to OT, and then the Senators won another game, destroying Toronto's 4-0. And it looked like the Toronto Maple Leafs were going to once again choke. But instead, they showed up for Game 6 to beat the Ottawa Senators by 4-2, and they actually showed up in this round overall. Good. It was a pretty good series, but it just wasn't like it was very entertaining because it was like they almost came back, but once again, Toronto dominated the whole series basically. They almost choked, but they came back. Then we got the Montreal Canadiens versus the Capitals, and the first game, Capitals beat the Canadiens 3-2, and once again Washington wins versus the Canadiens 3-1. Bunch of fights happen, and yeah, it was like insane. And then Montreal did win in a dominant game in 6-3. But after that was the only happenings that the Montreal Canadiens will be getting, because the Capitals will be taking the game Game 4, 5-2, Game 5, 4-1, dominating the whole stretch, and now making the series 4-1. Just straight up dominance from the Capitals. The Canadiens had no chance anyways. I'm pretty sure whoever faced on the Capitals did not have a chance at all, and that's why the series wasn't interesting. It was just straight up just dominance from the Capitals because they were just the better team. There was a lot of fights happening, and yeah. Then we got the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New Jersey Devils, probably one of the worst ones yet. The Hurricanes just blow out the Devils in the first 2 games, 4-1, 3-1, leading 2-0, and then the Devils get a lucky overtime win, 3-2, and then after that, 6-2, 6-2. In game 4. In game 5, it was pretty competitive. The Devils were trying to stay alive, but in the end, the Hurricanes showed up, went to 2 OTs, and yeah, that was the series from there. Again, the Devils didn't really have any chance at all, so that's what's that sucks for the Devils, but oh well. Then we got the Blues versus the Jets. This was a very good series. It started off with the Jets dominating game 1 and 2 with 5-3 and 2-1. Pretty good dominance though. And we all thought the Jets had everything in place. But the Blues came back and blew out the Jets. And game 3 and 4 were 7-2 and 5-1. And overall after that it was tied 2-2. And we all thought I thought that the Jets would have blown out the Blues, but the Blues fought back. Game 5, it was 5-3. Jets win. And then the Blues came back 5-2 going to game 7. Well, in game 7, the Blues were up 3-1. There was only a couple of seconds left. 2 seconds left. They were up 3-2. And they let one go for OT. They went to OT 1 and then OT 2. And then the Blues choke 2. The Blues, and yeah, overall ending the Blues season. Honestly, that was a good series, honestly. And then we got the Dallas Stars versus the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche took the series first 5-1, and it just looked so dominant with the Avalanche. But then the Stars came and beat the Avalanche twice. Game 2 was an OT, 4-3. And then game 3, it was 2-1. And overall, Dallas looked like they had it already. They were also all in OT, by the way. So, but in game 4, the Avalanche destroyed the Stars, shutting them out for nothing. Having the series tied 2-2, and then the Dallas Stars blow out the Avalanche, making it 6-2. And then they blow out then the Avalanche blows out the Stars again, making it 7-4 going to a game 7. Well, the Avalanche still up 2-0, and then the Stars came back, scored 4 goals at the third period, and ultimately ending the Avalanche season. And yeah, what's another good series from first round. That was overall a good first round. Then we got the Golden Knights versus the Wild. So it started off with the Golden Knights winning game 1, and then the Wild taking up 2 games, 5-2, both blowouts. And it looked like the Wild had the Golden Knights. But the Golden Knights came back in 2 OT games, 4-3, 3-2, and then ending the series off with a Golden Knights win up to 3-2. Overall, pretty good series. Pretty disappointing for the Golden Knights. So they're supposed to be more dominant, but still not that dominant at all. So yeah. Then we got the possibly was supposed to be one a shitty series, but it wasn't that bad. It was the Oilers and Kings. So first off, the Oilers went down 2-0 after 2 back-to-back blowout. And I don't want to say blowouts because game 1 was a blowout. It was a 6-5 game, and then this is when the Kings blow out the Oilers in 6-2. And then the Oilers, they know how bad Stuart Skinner is. They give up 12 goals in 2 games. That's concerning. So they benched him. And after that, the Oilers came and win the next 3. So 7-4. 4-3, 3-1, and 6-4. All that whole stretch was just Oilers win. Overall, again, if they had been, like, I think if they didn't been Skinnled, I think they would have been less. Like, I feel like the Kings would have had a chance, but they didn't, and the Oilers came back and beat the Kings. And yeah, overall it was a good series. It was supposed to be bad, but this was a pretty good series. Overall, this would be my recap of the first round NHL playoffs. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.